Life in a British city post-industrialisation was pretty grim. Cities were polluted, overcrowded, with low quality housing, and were generally unhealthy places for all but the rich. The utopian Ebenezer Howard had a vision for a new model where the benefits of both the city and the country could be obtained. Howard's book from 1902, Garden Cities of Tomorrow, had a major effect on the identity of urban England, and the principles of the movement spread quickly around the world. The planning and architecture of the suburb would improve the lives of post-industrial city dwellers, allowing for opportunities to express their identity at higher levels than mere survival. The aim of healthy, happy people has on the whole been successful, but there are some less successful aspects. Two suburbs in the Illawarra of New South Wales, Stanwell Tops and Unanderra, use Garden City principles, with differing results. Howard's three magnets diagram illustrates the good and bad aspects of the town and country living and proposes a new magnet, the town country, which offers the best of both worlds. The social benefits of city life combined with the natural elements of country life. Some of the features of the new town country magnet are beauty of nature, social opportunity, plenty to do, pure air and water, no smoke, no slums, freedom and cooperation. Key principles of Howard's vision were the cities and suburbs would be separate, self-sufficient and cooperatively owned units. The land use would be zoned. Civic centres would be at the heart of social communities. Open spaces would be planned and nature would be nearby. Letchworth in England is perhaps the only true city in this model. It was a private cooperative development and all the land is held in trust. Properties, both commercial and residential, are leased and income from these leases as well as profit from on-site businesses and capital gains are used for the benefit of the residents of Letchworth. Two suburbs of Stanwell Park and Unanderra were influenced directly and indirectly by garden cities at different times in Australia's history, with the designs responding to our changing identity. Stanwell Tops is a small residential development about an hour south of Sydney, on the edge of the Royal National Park and by the ocean. It was developed in the 1930s depression by a planner, developer, real estate agent named Henry Halloran, who'd met Ebenezer Howard and used his planning ideas, some would say, to increase the value of his investments. Stanwell Tops has planned garden blocks designed for modest single bungalows. It's close to nature and small parks offering a weekend feel to busy city dwellers. Stonework, parks and recreation areas with a pool were designed to entice purchasers to this new garden suburb. As it was developed in the 30s, Depression, prospective purchasers were comforted by the possibilities that their holiday houses would not just be frivolous, unproductive leisure, but would be a sound investment for a possible commuter suburb. That was important. People were eking out subsistent lives not too far away at shantytowns than in the Royal National Park. The area was not cooperatively owned, nor was it designed to be self-sufficient. The land was developed with profit. The development also lacked sustainable economic base, so it was lacking in some of the key principles of Howard's Garden City ideal. And true to Halloran's predictions, Stanwell Tops has become a wealthy holiday and commuter suburb. The suburb of Unanderra, at the other end of the Illawarra, is close to the natural escarpment and lake, but more importantly to the Port Kembla Steelworks. Post-World War II, an unexpected consumer boom created jobs for the steelworkers newly arrived from Europe. Originally, these were predominantly men, and they lived in places like Unanderra, close to the steelworks. They lived in migrant hostels in Nissen huts like these, which were often overcrowded. Pretty soon, these men wanted to move out into their own homes and have families. Just under 50,000 requests were made for public housing in the early 1950s. And as a response, public housing estates were built in places like Unanderra. These new worker suburbs were low density, small single dwellings on reasonably large lots. They had planned parklands, schools and civic areas. Industrial areas were kept separate from the residential along Garden City lines. These new worker suburbs were to help new immigrants realise their Australian dream and were quickly built at a relatively low cost by the state. Cheap fibre cement cottages on grassed lots remain to this day. Many have been sold by the Housing Commission, but predominantly to other low-income families. Public transport and walkability is poor in Unanderra, another key feature of the Garden City movement that's missing from Unanderra. The lack of amenities and opportunity for young people in particular has created social problems. Unanderra is slightly more successful as a self-sufficient community than Stanwell Tops, and the civic centre is thriving despite the steelworks and associated businesses declining. Some of Ebenezer Howard's principles have remained and are seen in developments of Stanwell Tops and Unanderra. Zoning, planned open space, access to nature and low density are the key ones. The broader social goals of improving the lives of urban dwellers have also been achieved, but not to the grand cooperative ideals of Ebenezer Howard. Ebenezer Howard's utopian social ideals have been diluted to a developer's business model for the suburbs.